The story begins with some young boys who were roaming in the jungle on their motorcycles. Suddenly they saw an old truck on the way. They slowly moved towards the truck, but they did not know how big a danger was hidden in this truck. This truck belonged to America's most dangerous monster, whose name is Creeper. Well, the boys started fighting without any reason. A boy named Luke picked up a stone and threw it at the glass of the truck, but this dangerous truck did not have any ordinary glass, rather the stone hit the glass and came back on Luke's head. On the other hand, a boy named Kirk opened the back door of the truck while investigating, and everyone was shocked as soon as they looked inside. There was a white bag inside which clearly showed that there was a dead body of a human being inside it. Now Kirk moved forward to see it, and he got a very strong smell, and as soon as he moved back, suddenly the door of the truck closed very fast. Seeing this, all of them got very scared and immediately ran away on their motorcycles. Then suddenly a rope came out from the back of the truck at a high speed with a sharp knife attached to its end, and it went straight to Kirk's leg. Luckily his friends did not leave him and stood him up by supporting him with their shoulders. Then they tried to call someone for help, but there was no signal in the forest. They tried to take out the knife from Kirk's leg with their hands, but it was stuck very deep. But the worst happened when the rope started pulling Kirk back on its own. The three friends were not able to understand what to do. Then the one on the red motorcycle ran away, but the other two friends were still with Kirk. In a few moments Kirk came to the truck pulling him back. Kirk was very scared and he asked his friends to find help from somewhere. As soon as one friend took out the phone, suddenly some sound came from above and a dead body fell from the sky to the ground. Before they could say or do anything, a huge monster flapped its wings and stood on the roof of the truck. Seeing him, the other two friends also ran away in fear. Meanwhile Creeper came to the ground and opened the back door of the truck. Then he raised his hand and suddenly a spear came in his hand. Creeper targeted the fleeing boys, and in a single shot the spear went through both their bodies. After writhing in pain for a while they died. After this, Creeper took out his spear and put it back in the truck and started preparing to find his next victim, but then suddenly he got a strong scent from which he understood that there was another human being nearby. This was Kirk's fourth friend who had already escaped. Creeper found him with his smelling power and killed him too. Then we come to know that this Creeper wakes up every 23 years and hunts humans for 23 days by becoming a savage beast. Well, after a while, when the police found Creeper's truck, they opened the back door where they found many dead bodies. In this dilapidated truck, there were rotten dead bodies and skeletons of who knows how many people were lying. Seeing this, the blood of the officers froze. Then an officer put his hand inside for further investigation, and suddenly the same clamp moved forward rapidly, due to which the officer saw so many people in this old truck. The traps must have been hidden. Due to this trap, they could not even take out the dead bodies, and seeing all this, Sheriff David was very disappointed. At the same time, more police vehicles came there, and then we came to know that the government had formed a special squad to catch this Creeper, and the leader of this team was Captain Dan. Here Dan and David were talking about the case, and the rest of the officers were busy opening the door of the truck, when suddenly a rope with a knife attacked from the truck, due to which the witch narrowly escaped death. Seeing this horrifying scene, everyone got very scared, and now no one had the courage to go near that truck. Then after a while, David took Dan alone and told him that the Creeper has taken the lives of 3 officers and many common people so far. Then some officers informed him that the Creeper's truck has been towed. Hearing this, Dan was filled with anger because he knew that the Creeper would get his truck back at any cost. This meant that the life of the tow truck driver was in danger. He immediately informed Officer Dana and tow truck driver Frank. But by then Creeper had arrived near the truck with his axe. He broke the chains in one stroke, so Frank suddenly stopped his truck. He saw that Creeper's truck had got free and gone back. Dan and Frank went closer and saw that Creeper was standing on top of the truck and was gnawing at them. Then they came to know that this truck could move on its own without any driver. Now Creeper had got his truck back, so he went away laughing without harming them. Dana and Frank thought that their lives were saved, but in a few moments they saw that Creeper's truck had returned. At this time Frank was extremely scared, and now the truck stopped after coming a little distance, but Creeper was nowhere to be seen. Dana and Frank looked around, and suddenly Creeper jumped on Frank from the air. Dana immediately pointed her gun at him, but Creeper looked at her and signaled, from which she understood that this gun would not harm Creeper. Now Creeper blew Frank away from in front of her eyes, and the poor girl could do nothing except standing quietly. Soon Dan and David reached there, and they saw that Dana was sitting in the driver's seat. After this, the next morning we see that a crow had come and sat on the door of a house, and then an old woman came out of the house and started looking at the tree. Then a person called her with a hand gesture. The name of this woman was Gillen, and she was very sad to see this person. Actually, this was not a human but the soul of her dead son Kenny. Actually, 23 years ago when the Creeper came, Kenny saw the Creeper kidnapping a man. Kenny immediately came out of his car and started looking for him. Then suddenly a severed hand fell in front of him from the sky. It was not someone else's hand but the Creeper's, and it was moving even after being cut. Now Kenny picked it up and brought it home with him and buried that hand under the tree in front of the house. Now after 23 years the Creeper had returned again, and Kenny knew that he would definitely come to take his severed hand. Kenny's soul told his mother to leave the city with her niece Addison, otherwise he will be the Creeper's next victim. Well, the next day Addison went to the store to get feed for her horse, but they already had a lot of debt due, so the shopkeeper refused to give him fodder. Now Addison started going back home disappointed. Then the shopkeeper's son Buddy felt pity for him. Buddy liked Addison for a long time, so he decided to help Addison himself. He brought a lot of fodder for Addison's horse without his father's permission. Seeing this, Addison felt a little embarrassed, but she took the fodder. She promised Batty that she would return all his money soon. After this, Batty went with Addison to the stable to keep the fodder. On the way, in a field, they saw many horses running away out of fear. Then Batty went out and saw that the owner of the field was very nervous. The workers were hiding under a tank. It seemed as if they had seen a horrific scene. Then the owner of the field asked Buddy to call the police immediately. Now Buddy was about to go to his car and call the police, when suddenly a man covered in blood came to their window, due to which both of them screamed. Before they could come out of this shock, another black shadow started hovering over their heads. It was none other than Creeper, who had come to catch the workers hiding under the tank. When Buddy and Addison heard the sound of the tank turning over, they understood that Creeper was present behind them. They saw that Creeper had left the workers. When Addison and Bunny looked there again, Creeper had disappeared. Buddy immediately thought of starting the truck and leaving from there, but the truck was not starting at all. Then suddenly Creeper came in front of them and closed his eyes and started feeling the fear present around him. Creeper was more interested in Allison than Batty. He suddenly flew towards Addison and started cleaning the blood from the window with his finger. Then he was smelling Addison's body, and soon he understood that Addison was his real prey. He screamed in joy, due to which even the glass of the window shattered. Then he broke the window in one stroke, dropped the truck and caught Addison. By the time Batty realized what was happening, Creeper had flown away with Addison. Then we see that the Creeper didn't kill Addison but just threw him in the back of his truck. And he himself went out for the next victim. Then Addison saw Kirk. This was the same boy who was injured by the truck's knife in the beginning. Both of them were from a small town, that's why they recognized each other. Then they made a plan to escape before the Creeper returned. Kirk knew that the back door was blocked, that's why he thought of going out from the front door, but he did not know that the same danger was looming on the front seat as well. As soon as Kirk touched the handle, a spear came out from the side at a high speed, which went straight through Kirk's head. Seeing this, Addison's blood froze and she remained frozen there. On the other hand, in the field, Gillen was still trying to find out what had happened to her son 23 years ago. She did not listen to Kenny's spirit and took out the Creeper's hand buried in the ground. She kept the hand on the table and saw that the hand was still moving. Then Galen, getting nervous, slowly extended his hand towards her. Suddenly, the creeper's hand grabbed Gallon's hand and she was tied to it. Gallon was blown into the air, his eyes turned white and his body started twisting in a strange way. Meanwhile, Dan and David were preparing to catch the creeper along with their team. Then team member Michael came there on his modified truck. He had kept a powerful gun which could fire 6,000 rounds in 1 minute. Michael was sure that he would be able to kill the creeper with this weapon. Well, as soon as the team gathered, they started searching for the creeper. On the other hand, when Gillen regained consciousness, she called Dan and David to her place. Actually, when Gallon touched the creeper's hand, she saw the real story of the creeper. She understood who this creeper was and how he came in this form, but Gallon said that she cannot tell this truth to Dan and David, and they also did not put much pressure on Gallon. Now the witch herself wanted to know the secret of the creeper, so she decided to touch the creeper's hand. David tried a lot to stop her, but it was of no use. Suddenly the creeper's hand grabbed his hand too, and the witch fell unconscious at that very moment. His team immediately brought him down, and as soon as he fell on the ground, his eyes turned white and his body also started twisting in a strange way. After some time, when Dan regained consciousness, he was completely stunned. When David asked him what he saw, Dan remained silent. At the same time, Michael got the news of an overturned car on Highway 9. He understood that this must be the work of Creeper. Hearing this, Dan decided to execute his plan to eliminate Creeper. This time Michael was ahead and Dan and David went behind him to search for Creeper. Soon they saw Creeper's truck on Highway 9. Then David fired a bullet at the truck's tire in anger, but its tires were also bulletproof and his bullets hit the tire and hit his own vehicle. Then David fired a bullet at the truck, but the same thing happened there too. Now the creeper left a bomb in the truck towards them, but Dan saved himself by turning the vehicle at the right time, but this bomb had a tracking system and it started coming towards them once again. Then David used his brain and first, he fired at the bomb which exploded on the way. Then Michael came from the other side and he was ready to kill the creeper with his special gun. Seeing this, Dan got scared and he immediately told Michael on the radio that he should not fire bullets because these bullets will hit the truck and come back to them. But Michael did not hear Dan's voice and he attacked with his gun. What he feared happened and all the bullets hit them and Michael and his driver died on the spot. After this, another bomb came towards Dan and David and this time they could not escape. Their car overturned in the explosion, but luckily their lives were saved. Soon the creeper came there with his truck and started to hit them by blowing the horn continuously. Now David came out with his rifle and got ready for the final fight with the creeper. Dan also came behind him and asked David to remain calm because if the creeper gets a hint of his fear, then it would be impossible for him to survive today. Then Dan's eyes fell on Michael's truck and he himself decided to go and fire that special gun. Here Creeper was slowly moving towards David with his axe. David fired a shot but Creeper stopped the shot with his axe. Now David stood up and fired another shot which blew off Creeper's hat. This made Creeper furious. David was about to fire the third shot when Creeper attacked him with his dagger which went straight into the tip of David's rifle. Now David had only one handgun left for his defense. Creeper was about to finish off David with his powerful attack when at the last moment Dan challenged Creeper while handling that special gun. This distracted Creeper but now the gun was jammed. Creeper now attacked Dan with his axe. He flapped his wings and flew in the air. Dan was thinking that he was not going to survive now. But in that difficult moment Dan used all his strength to fix the gun and aimed at the flying Creeper. Bullets started raining and Dan turned Creeper into a Chady Singh, but even such big bullets did not affect him. But it had no effect and the Creeper pounced on him as soon as he got a chance. From a distance, David saw that the Creeper cut off Dan's head with his axe and now David had no choice but to run away. As the night started to fall, Gillen was sure that the Creeper was coming. He picked up his shotgun and was ready for the final battle. Suddenly, he saw headlights outside. Gillen thought that it was the Creeper, but on opening the door, he found Buddy, who told him that the creeper had taken his granddaughter Addison. Meanwhile, Addison, who was stuck in the cargo area of the truck, suddenly heard a noise outside and she quickly hid under a white sheet and started pretending to be dead. But the creeper removed the sheet as soon as he came and caught Addison. Now he was preparing to eat her. But as soon as the creeper turned to take the knife, Addison retreated and hid as soon as she got a chance. As soon as the creeper caught Addison again, he cleverly activated the trap on the passenger seat, due to which a spear entered the creeper's head. The creeper screamed horribly because this one of his eyes was even damaged in the attack. Addison freed himself when he got the chance, and jumping out of the truck to avoid the trap, she quickly got up and started running at full speed. The creeper tried hard to chase her but fell on the ground. It was found that Dan had blown off one of his wings with his gun. But as soon as he got up, the creeper threw a dart towards the running Addison, but she collided with a stone and fell down, due to which the dart missed her by a few inches. Now the angry creeper picked up the knife attached to the rope. Due to having only one eye, it was very difficult for him to aim, and the prey was now running away. The creeper threw the knife with all his might, but he missed. The target fell on Addison's jacket, due to which she fell on the ground. The creeper picked up his axe and started running towards her. Just as he was about to catch Addison, a truck coming from the front hit the creeper and saved her life. Addison got up and ran away without looking back. The creeper, who used to kill people by scaring them, was feeling helpless for the first time. He took out his anger on the truck driver and cured his injuries by killing him. Creeper then went to Addison's house to collect his severed hand. He found the hand on the ground which Gillen had left with a tempting message on it that read, "I know what you are." On reading this, Creeper got so angry that he crushed the hand. He had only 23 days to hunt humans, and now very soon he will have to go for a 23-year sleep. So he decided to leave Addison for now and focus on a bigger target. Meanwhile, Addison, who survived with great difficulty, found Buddy and his grandmother. In the end, Buddy and Addison expressed their love by hugging each other. How did you like this movie? Do let us know in the comments section. To watch similar movies in future, subscribe to us today and stay with us. Thanks for watching.